for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with the abundant favor as your servants whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this county and the Republic of Kenya. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable Clerk, confirm if we have quorum.
Honorable Chair, we don't have the quorum.
Sergeant at Arms, ring the bell for 10 minutes. Minority Whip Honorable Nyaun to kindly whip the members.
Honorable Speaker, the 10 minutes are over.
Sergeant at Arms, ring the bell for another 5 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, there is quorum now.
Order, honorable members. Order of business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, papers.
Next order.
Order number 5, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable Mayo.
Madam Speaker, I stand to respond to the statement sought by Honorable Teresa Mayo on 26 March 2019. Honorable Speaker, the following are the major sex and gender-based violence drivers. The following: poverty and rising cost of living. This is a major contributor to gender-biased violence and defilement. During the study, it was observed that with increasing poverty, joblessness, financial stress, and the related frustrations, people tend to become more violent. In some homes, parents tell their girls to ensure that they bring something back home to eat. This kind of pressure makes the girls engage in risky behavior, which leaves them vulnerable to gender violence. Poverty also leads to poor, inadequate housing conditions, with families sharing very small rooms. This leads to children learning and becoming sexually active prematurely, which also contributes to rape cases as well as increasing cases of child-to-child sex. Secondly, drug and alcohol abuse. It was noted that cases of drug and substance abuse was also on the rise, especially in the entire country. In villages where drug and substance abuse were high, cases of sexual violence were also reported to be on the rise. These findings can be corroborated by literature from various studies, which show that sex and gender-biased violence is caused by the men under influence of alcohol, substance of abuse, unemployment, poverty, families living apart, and HIV status. That was the Peace Initiative Kenya 2013. It has also been shown that adultery and alcoholism contributed to 41%, 28.2% of SGBV cases, respectively, followed by financial position, that is 20.5% of the family, and the HIV status of the family spouse, that is 10.3, that is FIDA, 2008. Cultural practices. Specific seasons, such as circumcision season for boys, have been associated with increasing cases of rape and unwanted pregnancies. This could be attributed to perception that circumcision leads to graduation from boyhood to manhood, and therefore, in some cases, the young boys take it as a license to engage in reckless man-like behaviors, which to them means they can do whatever they can please. On the measures the department has taken to ensure that the social ills are eradicated, Madam Speaker,
Point of inquiry.
Honorable Teresa.
Can we kindly be served with what is read? Thank you.
Honorable Teresa, the copies have been circulated. Maybe the Sergeant at Arms should get you a copy.
Yeah, the document is there. I think should be circulated. In fact, there are two documents. That is the research by the department.
Honorable Mayo, just carry on.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Enactment of relevant policy framework. The sector in the process of formulating gender mainstreaming and child prosecution policies, a legal framework that could justify legal basis for the social welfare sectors, strategic intervention to reduce sex, gender-based violence, and the related social ills. Secondly, public education awareness and sensitization forums. The sector exploits available public education forums of the sub-counties, such as organized barazas and other development forums, to educate the public on how to militate against rape, defilement, and other issues of sex, gender violence. The sector has deployed social workers in every sub-county offices who work closely with the local leaders. Thirdly, radio shows. The Department of Tourism, Culture, Social Welfare has an MOU with the University of Eastern Africa, Baraton administration, to use in Baraton radio FM station to disseminate the entire public on several department activities. Last year in December, social welfare sector was given a priority by the department to organize and run a weekly radio shows that covered the following contemporary issues: prevalence of teenage pregnancies, alcoholism, drugs and substance abuse, parenting. The response from radio stations, consumers was overwhelming. Hosting of public functions and celebrations. The social welfare sector is mandated to organize several public functions and international celebrations, including World Disability Day, International Day for the Elderly Persons, and the International Women's Day. Apart from commemorating the achievements of each of the specific beneficiary groups highlighted above, such occasions are strategically exploited to enlighten participants on the prevailing social ills. For instance, during the last week's International Women's Day celebration, the sectors organized a 2-kilometer pace race in campaigning against sex SGBV. Participants were taken through other related gender mainstreaming topics by several invited facilitators. Madam Speaker, the efforts to eradicate defilement and other types of sex, gender violence behavior, and to ensure justice is served to the victims cannot be achieved without synergies of several stakeholders, including the sex, gender violence, gender-based violence, management structures within communities, the health security sector, justice, police, county and government, national government department, and other state and non-state actors. The sector is working in hand with the Department of Children and Probation to provide support and necessary referrals of SGBV victims to appropriate support. On that one, the department is talking with the police so that we have a section in the area of police, in the section of police, so that cases of defilement and sex abuse is taken seriously. In fact, today we had a meeting called by the judge, and we had a meeting and all these areas were taken through. I hope you will see the program that we had today. That program was talking about these cases, and the chiefs were reminded on the same. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, sex and gender violence-based violence is a complex issue and has its roots in structural inequalities between men and women, with results in power differentials between sexes. It is entrenched in cultural, traditional, and societal attitudes, norms, and behaviors. Effective interventions to reduce the vice calls from deliberate multidisciplinary actors, both from the county and the national governments, including the non-governmental organization. On this sector, we would like also the legislative organ in the county to customize the laws that are governing the sex abuse from the county, from the national, so that we have those cases deliberated and given to the right authorities to execute. Many survivors of violence suffer silently, either unaware that legal recourse is available, or because they cannot afford legal services, or they just lack confidence in the justice justice system. Eradicating SJBV will entail changing the cultural notion of masculinity. This change process will inevitably and actively have to engage the community as a whole, particularly men, be they policymakers, leaders, parents, or young boys. It is important to note that there are institutions that exist both at the national and the county levels to respond to that, survivors, and protect and prosecute the perpetrators. These include state and non-state actors, and they should all be supported and held to account to enhance and delivery of their mandated roles. Here we have the survivors of the defilement or rape. These ones, the county should have a place, a home for health to be given to these survivors. We know we have the survivors and those who are killed. So we need the survivors also to be assisted. So we need a place in the health sector. So it is upon this legislative organ to have a bill that will cause the health sector to initiate those areas. It is critical to note that the prevalence of SGBV in Nandi is significantly higher than the service providers that can manage within existing programs, frameworks, which serves to further exacerbate the magnitude of the problem. The county government ought to pool immense efforts and resources geared to obtaining remarkable progress by embracing a number of important preventive steps, including creating intensive public awareness around SGBV.
Point of inquiry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to further inquire from the chair, since he's reading a document from the county government, and he's saying the county government should ensure that proper handling and a place for the victims should be availed for the victims. It's the same government who is supposed to provide the place for the victims, and is saying the county government. Honorable Chair.
Honorable Nyaunto.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would just like to inform the Honorable who has just talked that what the chairman is trying to read is a report from our sector, social services, and that the social services who are directing now the health section through the county government to take over the issue and do the necessary.
Speaker.
Honorable Philip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to inform the Honorable Member that as much as we are the County Assembly, Honorable Speaker, the response was actually from the Department of the Social Welfare, Honorable Speaker. And I want to ask you, Mheshimiwa, just the other day, Honorable Speaker, I had the Honorable Members, actually they were busy in Nadilis and Kapsabet in streets, Honorable Speaker, and they were shouting, Honorable Speaker. I think the Honorable Member is part of the government. And during that time, if I heard very well, Terry and the likes were saying that ikatwe na itubulie umbwa. So, Honorable Speaker, I think they were in a position to cut down.
Honorable Philip, ensure you stick to parliamentary language. Use one language to the end. Meanwhile, I think Honorable Teresa, allow the chair to finish concluding.
Before he finishes, Honorable Chair, they are interrupting me right, left, and center. I've just heard again Honorable Nyauntu saying that the document is from Department of Children, Social Welfare. The same department that is said here that the national government, together with the county government and even non-governmental organizations, should come in to assist. Where is it that this document actually came from? If it is the Department of Social Welfare, that have answered my question. What is the county government doing? He has also said that the county government should, couldn't the department gather information from all the relevant institutions so that we have one document that can assist? Honestly, like as I'm talking, there's a victim who has been housed at the police station because she cannot go home after the father repeatedly defiled her. So honestly, we need a place to rescue the victims. And from whichever, whether the children's department, the social welfare department, the county government and the national government, at least something should come up. As for what Honorable Kurui,
Allow her to wind up, then you can inform her.
as for what he is talking about cutting and throwing to the dogs, I'm sorry to use that language. Let me reserve my comments. Thank you.
Honorable Mayo.
Madam Speaker, I think the answers to those questions asked by Honorable Teresa will be answered by reading the whole of this document. Yeah, the document has got all the answers. I've read only paraphrasing document from the committee, but the whole document from the department will be able to answer the Honorable Teresa very fully well. We have all the legal areas talked about. So this document talks of everything that will be done towards eradicating the menace. So at this juncture, I want to say that we want to read you can read the document in your own time. I've given you the ways forward that we are dealing. I'm also a member of Justice and Legal Department, and we have taken measures that we go to the court and we are going to the commissioner's office so that we resolute ways of eradicating the same menace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Hillary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise request for a statement on sugar milling, on sugar sales from the milling companies. That, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 45-1C, I stand to seek a statement from Chairperson Finance and Economic Planning Committee that the Chairperson do report to this House on the following issues. Number one, how much sugarcane sales per miller has been remitted to the county government of Nandi from the period June 2017 to date, month-wise, and how has the same been applied, Mr. Speaker? Number two, what plans does the department have on road maintenance in the areas where the tractors damage the roads while collecting the sugarcane within the county? Mr. Speaker, I thank you. Sorry, Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Chair for Finance Committee. In the absence of the Chair, then maybe the Vice Chair or a member of that committee, at least to commit and ensure that they work on this statement. And 14 days is given for the same. Honorable Philip.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As a member of the committee, Honorable Chair, if you allow us, I think 3 or 2 weeks, Honorable Chair, 3 weeks, Honorable Chair, because I realize when we talk about, Honorable Chair, Madam Speaker, when you talk about matters, as Honorable Speaker, I think as a House, we were deliberating on it just some few days. And you know, Honorable Chair, the committee in charge of SES has not been formed because due to the court case that was there. So allow us, Honorable Chair, 3 weeks. We can have a good response to Honorable Member Hilary Serem.
Honorable Teno.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think Honorable Jepkwany is not taking this house seriously, because 3 weeks is a lot of time, and especially their work is only to inquire from the Department of Finance how much is the cess that has been acquired from the sugar millers. It is a simple task. In fact, they should report by Tuesday. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Teno. Honorable Jepkwany, the chair had directed that you have 2 weeks to work on that report and bring that report back to this house.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We'll comply. We'll comply, Honorable Chair.
Fair enough. Next order.
Order number 9, adjournment. Order number 8, motion.
Honorable members, the motion that this house adopts the report of the County Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Nandi County Budget Review Outlook 2018, tabled on the floor of the House on 27th of February 2019, is up for deliberation after it was deliberated on yesterday, at least to finality today. It's up for discussion. Honorable Fred, although you had contributed yesterday.
Arifa, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kupata arifa kuhusu kipengele namba 100A kuhusu mafasi ya bunge hii, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu siku mbili iliyopita niliona Mheshimiwa amefaa long amekuja hapa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Nikaona Mheshimiwa Madam Clark amefaa long. Nimeshangaa Mheshimiwa kipengele inasemaje, kwa sababu tupatie uamuzi Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu tunashangaa Mheshimiwa Spika. Ya mwisho Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama Mheshimiwa tunaambia tufae mafasi rasmi bunge hii. Lakini pia ukiangalia wafanyakazi unaona unafaa nguo mwili inaonekana labda long. Nataka tujue Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu mimi ni mwanaume Mheshimiwa Spika. Lazima macho itaangalia chochote Mheshimiwa Spika. Tunataka tuamue ya kwamba mafasi ni gani. Kulingana na kipengele inasema gani? Ndio tuelewe Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, kama mimi ningekuja hapa bila tai Mheshimiwa Spika ningetolewa nje. Mheshimiwa Spika, mfanyakazi akikuja hapa bila hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika tolewe nje. Na hiyo kipengele ni ya bunge. Bunge kiwango yake ni mpaka kwa mlango. Mpaka bunge yote ndani Mheshimiwa Spika. Tusaidie kwa mawazo Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, Honorable Fred, for that. We have had a discussion on the same time and again, and I think it's high time we brought this to an end. And I would then request that on Wednesday next week morning session, this has to be brought to an end by whoever chair that will be here. We need someone to interpret fully what the standing order you talked about means, so that we can bring this issue to an end once and for all. Is that okay, Honorable Fred? Honorable Jepkwany.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to inform this House, Honorable Speaker, that as honorable members, we are here to transact the business, Honorable Speaker, and not to look at ladies, Honorable Speaker, as maybe Honorable Fred has put it.
Honorable
we are here
Jepkwany.
purposely to transact the business, Honorable Speaker.
Uchulishaji Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kuchulisha rafiki yangu ya kwamba kuna msemo inasema macho haina pasia Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo ndio maana tulisema.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Jepkwany.
If I add Honorable Fred saying that
on what point of order, Honorable Jepkwany, are you rising on?
Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Informing.
Inquiry, Honorable Speaker. I want to inquire from Honorable Member Fred. He has said that actually there is a standing order which clearly says merger haina pasia. Let him show us, Honorable Speaker, where is it?
Uchulishaji Mheshimiwa Spika.
Honorable Fred.
Mara kwa mara mimi nasema Mheshimiwa wengi hawaelewi Kiswahili. Nimesema msemo. Kuna msemo inasema hivi. Sijasema kipengele. Kuna tofauti ya kipengele na msemo Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, Honorable Fred. And as I had directed, this matter will be put to rest on Wednesday morning session.
Information.
Who
Point
are
of
you
information.
informing Honorable Teresa?
I would like to inform the entire House that
Carry on.
the standing orders is clear on dressing code of honorable members.
Honorable Teresa,
Unfortunately,
the chair has directed that the same will be put to rest on Wednesday.
but I sit in that committee, Honorable Speaker, and I'd rather inform right now.
Honorable Teresa, Wednesday is not too far. Now you are out of order. Honorable members, judging from the mood of the House, since this had been deliberated on yesterday, I now proceed to put the question that this House adopts the report on the County Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Nandi County Budget and Review Outlook Paper 2018, tabled on the floor of the House on 27th February 2019. Will as many as of the opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, adjournment.
There being no other business to transact, the House stands adjourned to the next session.